Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Spooky Japan Podcast. Hoping everyone is doing well today. Today we have a very special guest joining us. How you doing, Jason?
Doing okay. Hi there, Amanda. Hi, Irene. Thank you for having me here today.
Thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining us. So, everyone out there who may not be aware of who you are, how would you introduce yourself? Where did your journey into what you do begin?
My name is, my author name is J.P. Moss, and I'm an experiencer, researcher into the paranormal. Experiencer defined as someone that has had alien contact, alien abduction, generally resurfaced memories of non-human intelligence contact issues, and I've written books and given interviews regarding this. So it's been for 12 years, I've been speaking about this publicly. Um, I've been on various social media interviews and on television here in the UK. Yeah, I'm here in England. I'm originally from Texas, and I've lived over here for many, many years. And around 2010, I had some memories begin to resurface of experiences that happened to me back in Texas that were rather disturbing, rather frightening. And that was the initial beginning. It got me so bothered, I thought of going to my doctor about it. I thought I was having a nervous breakdown. I thought this can't be real. And I had a lot of anxiety. I didn't want to deal with it. I thought I just wanted to try to run away from what was coming back. And I spoke to some people. One of them is a researcher. He does artwork for people that have had alien abduction experiences. If I can plug his name, David Chase, Chace, David Chase. David, a good guy. He's on Facebook. He's out there, and he's into behavioral human research, things like this.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows Dr. Barbara Lamb, and he was one of the people that knew Dr. John E. Mack, as well as Dr. Lamb does. In fact, Dr. Mack mentioned him in like a UFO conference many, many years ago before Dr. Mack died, if anyone's familiar with Dr. John Mack. So it was, it was a pleasure to have his help from the beginning. And then he got me introduced to different people at the time. There was a gentleman in Canada. He is passed away now, but he was a TV producer. Originally, he was going to have me in a show called Experiencers. I was going to be in that. It didn't quite work out, and then he passed away. Joanne Summerscales here in England has interviewed me on several occasions and on ITV Channel 4. And it's just been a journey. It's been a journey. I stick to the same story, the same account, the same narrative. It's not changed in all these years. It's in my books. It's the same account. What came up in 2010, and as I went along, other memories began to resurface. And it's a process. You have to sit down and write down what's coming out. Don't try to edit this, as they were telling me. Don't try to hide it, run from it. Just let it come out. And more things began to happen. There was indeed a lot of experiences that began to come up around me. And I went to document some of this stuff over the years as this was, it's almost as this was coming out. Stuff began to happen around me at the same time. And I went to document as best I could, picture, video, do what I could. So it's been a rather interesting trip.
It sounds like it definitely has been.
Yeah.
Have you only had the experiences like in Texas, or did they follow you through anywhere you went?
Yeah, it's here in England. Yeah, definitely. It was memories that resurfaced of events that happened to me in Texas, and here in England, the events began happening here. Lights in the sky, things like this. In the beginning of 2010, I was divided over what I should do with what was coming back. I didn't go public straight away, and by then I had 4 small sons, and I'd just gone through a divorce. So there was a lot of heady things going on with that. Do I go back to Texas? What do I do? I need to stay with my sons. It was really difficult. I have no other family over here. And I was dealing with schools a lot. So it was a very serious issue for a father that,
Do you think because of your abduction, do you think that it had a lot of stress on your marriage?
I think so. That's a very good question. Yes, there were nightmares before the memories began to resurface in 2010. We were married from 97 to '07.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a few years after that, we were going through a lot of our, issues with the kids and whatnot. And in that marriage, yes, absolutely. She got to the point where she wouldn't let me stay in the same bed with her anymore. I kept waking her up.
I
And she said I was saying strange things. And
Yeah.
she says, you have to be in the night on another bed or down the stairs. But yeah, it did have an impact.
I think being abducted and also um being seeing things in the paranormal world too. I think it creates a lot of stress and anxiety in the family, especially if you don't know, if you don't understand it, or if you haven't had that happen to you. You don't know how to, I don't know, deal with it
That's right.
as, as another person, as another family
Yeah.
member. I think it's really hard to
Mm,
accept this happened to you as a spouse
mm,
or
mm.
as a mother or somebody who has a child who has had this problem, had this things happen to them. You don't know how to, okay, what do I do? Like, I'm supposed to protect my child. I'm supposed to be I'm supposed to be there to be with my spouse, and I don't know how to handle it mentally. So it gets kind of screwy, I think.
It does. Yeah. There was, we did have some strange events happen in the home that we first attributed to ghost activity or poltergeist activity.
Yeah,
And I think that made her uncomfortable. And of course,
yeah.
some of the stuff I was coming up with at night, and it put there was an impact. And when I went public there in a few years later, that was late 2011, 2012, when I finally started to open up about it.
Hmm.
Yeah, my kids were still young and they were in school, and that was a that was a
That's
tough.
another. That's
Yeah,
another. It's like opening up a can of worms, right?
yeah, there. Yeah, my kids had friends at school that began to
Yeah.
hear about it and said, "Your dad's that weird UFO guy," and it
Or
kind
your
of put
dad just
stress.
is
Yeah,
kind of like
yeah,
cuckoo or crazy
yeah,
or bludgeon in the house, right? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I think
You know,
I think it puts a level amount of stress on the family, and if you
absolutely,
don't
Irene.
get it, if you
Mhm.
don't feel it, if you don't understand it, it's it can be really bad. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I felt the need to tell the truth
Mhm.
and open up about this was imperative. It was so important because of what I remembered, what had come back to me,
Yeah.
was extremely upsetting,
Mm.
and it was something that I felt needed to be brought to the attention of the public. And I became an
It
activist at this point. It was like an
actually
activism.
it's almost helping you with your mental health about what happened to you. I think opening up helps you to, I don't know, come to terms of this is what happened to me. Yes, I get it. And, I want others to understand what happened to me, but also it's really hard to deal with on your own when it's all
Mhm.
bottled up inside you, right? So you want to
Yeah,
expose yourself, yeah.
yeah,
But then there are others who really, yeah, we don't want to have anything to do with it. Yeah, you're kind of
yeah,
hoo in your
yeah,
head.
yeah, yeah. It's a as Dr. David Jacobs once said in an interview, he hypnotizes. You probably heard of him. He hypnotizes people with UFO experiences. He's told the interviewer. He said it's a real social detractor.
Yeah.
You don't like get a big social life. I don't have like
No,
people chasing me down to date me, things like that.
no.
It. I think at first this happens. I'll be in
Mhm.
public. and I'll meet somebody and they're very lovely. And then they get to know me, especially if I get like Jehovah's Witnesses knocking on the door and they go, "You want to come to the Kingdom Hall?" And I'll go, "Okay, how you doing? Y'all are really," and they're really friendly. And then it's like they start to go like this. And I go, "Oh, you've heard about my books."
Whoa, like all of a sudden you become a plague, right? Like they don't
Yeah,
want to have anything to do with you. Like,
yeah, yeah.
don't get your cooties onto me, right?
But I
So
think,
have
You
you
know,
found most people to maybe not be as accepting as what you do or what you experience?
well, in the community we're in, I find all y'all are great. This is lovely. In our, I think in our tenure of life,
mhm,
there's that we, it's like Irene was saying. Yes, of course we can sit here and just share. We can get it out. We can,
mm,
here it is. And this is the purpose of this for me too, is to,
mm,
if I can share this, I can make people feel more comfortable with their rather unusual memories or experiences. But in the general out there, yeah, in the world, yeah, there's a little bit of a stigmatism, and
mhm,
I guess that's to be expected. I have to stop and keep looking at people and
mhm,
think, wait a minute, if I were in their place, how would this look?
mm,
Oh gosh, I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
What in the world? I mean, I remember way back in the day, in Texas, there were these shows that would come on, and hell, even Oprah Winfrey had a few shows about people talking about alien abductions. And I used to sit there and go, "Oh, really? What in the world, really?" I used to sit there and giggle at them
mhm.
until I began to
Yeah,
remember my own
yeah,
experiences, and I began to, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And when you know it, and you sit here and think, oh my God. So when David Grush goes public a year ago in Congress, and he began to testify that America's got this secret, this hardware or whatever, and he's starting to say this, people like us are going, "Oh, that's not really news to us. We know
yeah.
that. We
Like,
don't."
tell me
So,
something that we don't know, okay?
yeah.
Like,
I'm like,
really? Like, what do you
really?
think? Do you think we're stupid or something? Exactly, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you fear that your children will be abducted too?
I think my eldest of the four has been, and we do now. I will say, between him and I, we do share this quietly. We do talk about it.
Mhm.
He's allowed me to speak about that publicly, that it's him, but not drop his name. But yeah,
No.
he has spoke openly. I don't know if the others have been. Um, I know we've got experiences where my oldest and my second oldest, because I've got four sons, we were out for a walk, for example, and they were teenagers some years ago.
Mhm.
And this was when the mom, was now my ex-partner, was coming back to the house with her partner to get the kids and do something. And I said, well, we're going to go for a quick walk. And she had the two youngest, and we had almost 2 hours of missing time. We don't know. We saw something strange in the field before that happened. We got back to us, and literally our wristwatches were about 2 hours off.
Mm,
And she thought we were pulling her leg, that we had reset our watches. I mean, this kind of stuff was going on. And it was like,
mhm.
my God, look at this. And it's nothing that we made up. This is absolutely right there,
Yeah,
bona fide. And that, I think, was a help for the two oldest, because especially my oldest, and
yeah,
I could look at him and say,
yeah,
this is happening. And I
yeah,
said, I giggled and I'd say, yeah, Dad's a weirdo, but
yeah,
this is happening.
yeah,
This is real. They're really here. This is really going on.
yeah. I think that from what I heard from other people, that it does go on to the next generation and afterwards, right?
Mhm.
So they do have the same experiences. It's kind of, it's kind of. Well, I can't say it's like paranormal, but
For
for
some
being a
odd reason,
sensitive,
they seem to follow a
yeah,
bloodline, which even
yeah,
the
Yeah,
bloodline can't even tell you why. They're just
yeah,
like, I don't know.
that's right.
I've
That's
had
right.
family before that said that they were
Yeah,
abducted.
yeah.
I
yeah,
was, my children was. We don't know. This is in our bloodline that for some odd
yeah,
reason
yeah,
Hmm,
we
hmm,
just are. They can't explain it,
hmm.
they themselves just don't know. They just
Yeah.
it feels like it's almost like they're following their bloodline for
Yeah.
Yeah,
whatever reason.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
they even say that about paranormal too. If
Mm.
you're sensitive, your children are, or it comes from your bloodline, from your mother, or
Mm.
somebody passed it down to you, right? So it's just, yeah, it's just really weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
how it
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah. I
And,
mean, yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Yeah.
mhm,
Yeah. I don't know if y'all wanted to, if I could start talking about the main
go ahead.
focus of what publicly I've been putting out there. This is what you see on my Facebook page a lot of times. So obviously on social media, I try to keep to that that point about this connection to this girl, and I try to keep that kind of on focus and keep that fresh and keep talking about it.
Mhm,
I did drop a name there, Dr. David Jacobs. I have a lot of respect for him as a
mhm,
researcher, but some of these researchers tend to have a very negative view on alien hybrids. And
mhm,
many years ago, when I went public about it, when my memories resurfaced, it was a very positive experience with this girl.
mhm,
And I felt that she was completely honest with me. And I
mhm,
felt that through a thought projection. This was a very, very real, sincere person. And I wanted very sincerely in my activism to be saying, hold on a minute, it's not all bad. It's not scary. They're not going to hurt
mhm,
you. Not all of them will. I can't speak for everything that's
mhm,
engaging this planet. I honestly don't know. And
mhm.
I do say that on social media. And a lot of people say, look, I don't have the answers either. I don't have all
No,
the answers. I'm
Yeah.
not, I don't want to be one of those people.
no,
I don't want to drop that guy's name. There's a
no.
gentleman I want to say, but he went out with his blue aliens, whatever, and went really nuts on that. And it really was like those kind of these messiah complex people.
Mhm,
And they present themselves as like, oh, I've got all the answers to it. I will always say first, I don't know. I like to say the words, I don't know.
yeah.
Because I don't have it all. But I do believe sincerely she was very genuinely real and sincere
Mhm,
with me and what she was about.
mhm,
Um, and if I can, if I can minute, just go into what that experience in Texas was, just for a minute. That's okay if I can get into
mhm.
that.
That's fine.
Now, I have to
Take
put
a
a bit of it.
breath.
Yeah, yeah,
Take a breath.
yeah. I'm better than I used to be years ago because I would get emotional, and I don't do that anymore. I've got better from that. I don't get emotional because I did that with Joanne Summerskills on Channel 4. I started crying, and they had to edit out some bits, and I was like stopping and crying.
Like my head. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
did I just say that? Gee whiz. What
yeah,
the hell
yeah.
am I talking about, right?
Um, I have to, as a disclaimer, I need to say, I'm going to be speaking of a what can be defined as a military abduction experience. But when I say military, I am not identifying anybody specifically in America. I'm a patriot, love America. I'm an American, but I have to be very careful about talking about that because I don't want to be saying because I don't know who they were. I know they were fellow Americans, but I don't know what branch they were in. I don't remember this insignias or things like that. They might have just been some people dressed up in camouflage. I don't know. Um, so I had to say, I need to say that. Okay. So I was 20 years old, and I'll give you kind of the run through. It's gonna how it's gonna sound, but I got to say it. I got a phone call. My mom told me there was a girl on the phone that wanted to speak to me, and I knew girls at the time in a local city, and got on the phone with this girl, and she sounded a bit faint and a bit distant on the phone, but she sounded like she was in trouble.
Mm,
And this was a landline. This was a landline phone, not mobile phones back then. This is the 1990s,
mhm,
and we spoke. I'll cut through a lot. We spoke, got into this conversation. It went on for hours,
mhm,
and she floored me. And I was quite nervous. I was quite shaken. She knew every detail of my life. and she had made it clear that she and I were in serious trouble. And she said that I had been taken over a period of time, but I don't remember, and that they had taken her from a vehicle, and that she was in fact an alien hybrid, is what we would define her as. I believed her because of the details she was giving me, and I'm like, "How are you able to communicate through a phone line? What's going on with this?" Because she kept fading in and out of the conversation, she begins to explain that they don't know she's doing this, but she was thought projecting into the lines and knew my number from my own mind and knew to reach out to me. She said, "I'm not going to be used as a weapon. I won't be used to scare you, but they're going to bring me to you." She said, "I'm going to come to you." But she got to me before they brought her out. So we're going to get past that. The call ends. We get on a few nights later. I'm outside. I was with my mom and my stepdad at the time. I moved back in with them, and it was a courtyard. It was a mobile home park, and it was dark. There was some porch lights on, and down the courtyard comes about 8 or 9 of these black Range Rovers that come in the courtyard, and a load of soldiers or people dressed. Bear in mind, I don't know if they're soldiers. They get out and start running about, setting up a perimeter, and they're jumping over our 3-foot high fence. And I said, "That's private property. Who are you people?" There was a large, like a tall woman that got out, a blonde woman, and she was human. But she said, "We're not going to answer your questions unless you step off the property." And so I stepped off the property, and I was terrified. What the hell's going on? Yeah. I was scared. And she said, "We're not going to say anything." And then one of the vehicles that was parked down the street, a door opens, and this girl steps out, about 4 feet tall, maybe, long, straight black hair, straight like a fringe, straight black, palest skin, with a black tight outfit on, with a blue triangle with a circle around it, offset to the side, like an insignia, and these large eyes that were almost wrapped like that around her head. Tiny chin, tiny nose, like a little gothic doll, like a Muppet, like something from the Muppets, like something Jim Henson would create. And at first I thought it was a child. At first I thought, I like to be funny, and I thought, "You need all this for a child? What's the matter with you people?" Then I had to look at her, and a cursory glance, and I looked again, and I thought, "Look at the size of her eyes." And she's looking at me. And as soon as I thought that's the one I was talking to, she comes over to me, and somebody that was standing, there were some soldiers in the middle of the courtyard, chaperone, like the whole thing was like completely cordoned off. And one of them said something like, "Well, what is she doing?" And this blonde lady, I don't know why I'm thinking she's a sergeant or something, but she says, "Let's see what happens." The girl comes up to me, and as I felt comfortable, she put me at ease. My fear, my anxiety dropped. And then we hugged each other. But she felt very hot to the skin, like as if the body temperature could have been I don't know, in Celsius, 44 Celsius or something. It was much higher than our body temperature. And there was like a static feel to her, like an electric static sensation, almost like if you rub your feet in the carpet, there was some kind of and I felt a cold sensation touching her. There was like an electric feel to this girl's body. And I thought, well, right away, I'm thinking all sorts of things. Everything I've heard is true. Then this is them. They're real. And then I thought, well, that makes sense about thought projection, because obviously she's got some kind of like almost like an eel, as if she's able to produce some kind of a high field or something. And we hugged each other, and I can hear everything she's thinking and feeling. She is scared herself, and she says to me, "Forgive them. What they're doing out of fear." And I thought, I've got to protect her. I've got to protect you. I can't let them hurt you. I somehow know what's going on. And I had a lot of visceral hatred for these people. And then they went to pull her away from me. And I could get emotional. This is where I started. I'm not going to do that. They pulled her away, and it gets really hectic at this point. One of them is a very cocky kind of guy, and he says, "What is this? Your effing girlfriend? You're a freak." He says, "You're a freak." He's like this, and that woman starts shouting at him not to be doing that. And then this man that kept calling the colonel or something, and he says, "Jason," he says, "you don't control this. We do." He says, "We're in control. We
Uh-huh.
can make this. We can make this stop."
Uh-huh.
And they pull out some kind of the guy pulls out something on his hand like a large stun gun or something. I'm going to say it's a stun gun because what happens next is he grabs her by the back of the hair and he electrocutes her.
Oh my God.
And I could feel it in my chest, like I was having a heart attack. I could feel it instantly. It hit me. I know what she's feeling. I know what she is feeling. It's like we are connected. I'm feeling everything this girl is feeling. And this gets real manic at this point. There's a bit of a battle, or she's fighting, or she's trying to like it almost looks like they're grabbing a wild animal.
Mm-hmm.
And I was crying. I broke to tears. I shouted, "Don't! She has feelings. Leave her alone. Please don't do this to her. She's a person." And I said, "If you want to do it to me. Do it to me. Leave her alone. She's a person. She's a person." And I began to threaten these people. I won't say what I said publicly, but I was getting very, very threatening. And that colonel says, "Don't you threaten my people." He says, "Don't you threaten my people." He says, "I can make you disappear tonight. Your family never see you again." And it was very hectic, very hectic. One of them said to me, "We have your position." He says, "You do anything we don't like. We've got people out here that will just put a bullet in your head. You're dead."
Mm.
So I don't know, what was this to see my reaction to it. Now, apparently, then I find out after the fact that, in fact, I'm not alone. People have had the same experience. And recently, a few years ago, there was a guy that was saying that in an interview, said he worked with the government. He said, "Oh yeah, this program of taking beings to people in America, doing this is an ongoing thing." Um, and when you get a memory like that, you um, the motivation in me exploded
Mm-hmm.
to go and say, "Hey, wait a minute." When I began to hear people in the UFO community saying, "Oh, all the alien hybrids are bad or evil," I began to think, "Are they? No, they can't be. They must be put up to saying that." I'm sure some people have had bad experiences, but I'm thinking, I don't believe this. I don't believe in this. This can't be right. It's almost like they're trying to feed that to the public because it sells or something. I don't know. So I was very much alone in the beginning. I made some Facebook sites, kind of, alien hybrids are good or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I found I was the first to start saying that. But then, of course, there's Darylenko channels at Alien called Bashar. You familiar with Darylenko? So I thought, well, I'm not really the first. But then I thought Darylenko doesn't go around saying Bashar too much about he's an alien hybrid, but he doesn't really say much else at this point about, it's kind of goes in the dark on that. But I was like I said, it's been a saga. It's been something that there were some things. Now it's interesting. I mean, I love the fact you guys are, here it is. I'm talking to you guys. You're in Japan.
Mhm.
The girl's name, uh, the lineage of the girl was intriguing. She in that phone call. Let me go back to that just for a minute. She was telling me about her origins, and that when they create these alien human hybrid people, they reuse souls, or they get souls and put them into these bodies.
Like reincarnation, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. But they're allowed to remember every aspect of the life they've lived. Nothing is lost. Apparently, it's completely there. It's all there. Um, she was um, telling me, in fact, that she was in, here we go, Hiroshima, Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Is where she started out, and she was there at the detonation ground zero when the bomb went off.
Mm-hmm.
It opened some kind of a gate or something. Again, this is the words I don't know. People are going to ask me, be more. I can only repeat what I was told. And this created some kind of a portal into this other dimension where these aliens are. And if we can call them aliens, interdimensional beings or whatever they are, grays or whatever. And that's where it began. That's where it began for her. So the name she gave me, she says they don't have spoken language. They have a thought pattern, light or whatever they communicate with. She said, but the name she had in human life was Benico. B-E-N, well, in the English, it would be B-E-N-I-I-C-O, Benico.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was calling her Benico, but that's not her current name. So this is the title of one of my books. This is what I've been saying for 12 years. If you say something like that, people kind of go, that sounds a bit sci-fi here. What do you mean? But where'd you get that name from? But this is her origin. That was her origin. And she has all memory of this. Now, one of the needs for the secrets to this is apparently, this is what she said to me, that because these devices detonating over human beings can open portals and these aliens, and the government found out this was happening. They discovered this was in fact going on, and they went, we can't talk about this. This is another reason for it being classified. Not just this other dimension exists, is that these things open the doorway. Well, these are the deterrents for the Western civilization, aren't they? Well, you can't very well you can't go around telling everybody on the planet, oh, by the way, they open portals.
Yeah.
Where aliens can take your loved ones and our enemies as well and make them another race. Well, then that makes these things obsolete completely.
Yeah.
So it's like they shot themselves. And I remember thinking on the phone call, well, they've shot themselves in the foot, haven't they? They went off to win that war.
Yeah.
Look what they've done.
Yeah.
This has come back to bite them in the butt.
Yeah.
My God.
What comes around goes around, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, here it is. And I was like, I was floored by this, but it was, for me, it was also, she could feel I was getting uncomfortable at times because I was raised a Baptist Christian primarily.
So was I.
Yeah. So I kept throwing that in there. What about Jesus? What about angels? And she was very monotone in the voice. And she would say, I'm not going to add or detract from your belief systems. This is just how it, but she was very assertive with me. She said, she and I at the time were in trouble. And she said, you either accept this or you don't. She said, if you don't, she said, but this is going to happen. They're bringing me to you. So she was at least throwing it on me. She said, I don't have a choice. You have to hear this. This is what's going on. And at the time I was shaken. I was like, and she kept stopping her. She was identifying the fact that she could feel I was going, what? What?
There's another thing that I'm going to have to tell you about. Japan has a lot of aliens in the sky.
Oh, really? Wow.
They come to this country a lot. My religious belief comes from the aliens.
Mm-hmm.
They left a lot. They left a mark all over the place in Japan. They say that some of my swords, the technology came from aliens who taught them how to make the sword. They taught them how to do it and how to fold the metal to make the sword stronger.
Oh, wow.
There are a lot of places, shrines that are on the mountain.
Oh, wow.
How did they get these logs up the mountain to make the shrine? Nobody knows, right? So there's a lot of alien technology in this country. Wow. Medical, AI, everything. Yeah.
But see, wow.
You don't, nobody talks about it because
that would make sense.
Yeah. And every earthquake that we were talking about happens, a major one. Everyone looks at the sky because there are UFOs flying around everywhere.
See, that's incredible because it goes back to what she was saying about that door. And see, I've heard something about that, about the activity in Japan.
There is a theory that now they either here in Japan, well, not just Japan, other people believe a lot of the UFOs that we see are not from space, but from somewhere in the earth.
Yeah.
So, I mean, here I know it's believed the same thing with that is it could be the earth, could be them also in some of the volcanoes that we have over here, or even in the waters.
Yeah.
which kind of goes with the whole thing of if they're in the volcanoes or especially the waters here,
Yeah.
if the earthquake hits and they're up in the sky, that could
Yeah.
go with it, or the
Yeah.
earth shaking, so they just go up and wait until it's done.
And
Goodness, like they're
because we have a lot of nuclear power plants, they're hovering around the nuclear power plants in Japan.
oh wow.
Yeah, because the hurricanes and everything like that, we can't use wind, uh, um,
Mm,
air or anything like that. We
mm.
can, it's just really difficult because the weather can go sour in a second, right? But yeah, there you go, right?
Oh my
And
goodness me.
it's just really strange even to this day. Like, yeah, there's a
Wow.
lot of alien activity in
Wow,
Japan,
God.
and
Wow.
we have our own Bermuda Triangle too,
Oh
off of
really?
Japan in the Pacific Ocean. So the police find people call the police saying that there's a ship in the water. They're fishing vessels that come from Korea or China or whatever, and they come up empty, and the fishing vessels are nothing's wrong with them. They're just nobody's in it anymore.
Oh wow. So there's these portals or something that are still opening and closing,
Yeah.
and
So that's
they're being
it's an open investigation, but they don't have any answers. So they just pull the vessels on the shore and they take pictures, whole bunch of pictures, and that's it. That it's closed and nothing. Yeah. So there
that
you go.
is
Right.
wild. That is wild, wild. Well, I'd heard something, but this is blowing me away. I mean, I'm like, my God. I mean, wow.
I'm
It
gonna
it
ask
all
you
yeah,
one more
it all
question. I want to ask you one question. What is your blood type?
oh positive.
Okay. Because they're saying that it's not normal to have a certain type of blood type because
No, no, you're talking about there is a rare blood type that very few
AB
people have, and
negative. AB negative
but there's
is
one
one.
that's even more rare than that. That's
Yeah.
not. I don't even know what the name of it. I remember it has
No.
some different name. It's not
Yeah.
O. It's not
Yeah.
AB. It's not A or B.
No.
It's not positive. It's not negative. It's something else. It's something
Yeah.
that only
Yeah.
a certain people have this
Yeah.
bloodline, and
Yeah.
they think it either came from the Nephilim
Oh wow.
or alien human
Yeah.
kind of thing. And
Kind
they
of a
say,
hybrid, yeah.
especially with this blood type that you have,
Yeah.
the women have to be careful getting pregnant because
Yeah.
unfortunately, if they get pregnant with a baby, their body attacks the fetus
Yeah.
like it's a virus.
Yeah.
So
Right,
they have to
right.
go see the doctor to try and do something to
Oh
even try
goodness.
and let it go to term, or the body's gonna basically,
Yeah.
destroy it.
So it's some
This
kind of
you see the reason why I ask you is that because I'm AB positive, okay,
oh right.
and I'm the only one in my family back home has the same blood type, but my children all except for one child is all AB positive, and it's really weird.
Mm.
So,
Oh
yeah,
wow.
including my husband, and
Wow, God.
it's yeah. Don't ask why. But yeah, it's just really strange, right? Because they're saying the blood type could be because you're being abducted because of that. They're saying all kinds of yeah. It seems like they're going after certain types of people, certain types of bloodline. Yeah,
Mm.
it's
Wow. Wow.
like it's a whole new can of opening up a whole new can of worms because of that, right? And yeah, we don't know anything, but there's so many theories out there that which one it's like a multiple choice, pick and choose whatever you want, right?
Yeah, I gathered that from a lot that's out there. There's a vast,
Yeah,
it, maybe some of that to do with the different civilizations engaging the planet. Maybe they've got,
yeah,
and what we're filtering through with our information, we're kind of
yeah,
getting, well, what's this? How does this work out? How does that tie
yeah,
in?
yeah,
But if they don't really all fit with each other, then it goes back to what the whistleblowers have said. There's many different civilizations that are
yeah.
engaging the
It's
planet.
like
So they,
going to a Viking restaurant, which one, you take your plate
well,
and you get whatever you want, put it on your plate, right?
yeah, yeah.
That I mean, yeah, it
Wow.
it's it'll. I think what I said will help you in maybe looking at things you had one view, you have another view, and
Mm.
yeah, there's another one right there. I just threw at you,
Wow.
right? You go
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
like,
that's very yeah, I like that. I'm getting a lot out of this. I am. Like I said, again, I'm very just floored about. I mean, I've heard about some of the stuff about the activity. Obviously, I've looked in that direction because the lineage that she was telling me about herself.
yeah.
And there's going to be others like her that are from Japan that
Mhm.
have become alien human hybrids, have ascended into whatever they are, their physicality, the men, what is this? What are they made of? What is this?
Yeah.
I mean, when I held her, she was physical, but as
Yeah.
I said, there was this electrical quality about her. Now, I will say um, that immediately after that night, obviously they did something to my memories. Well,
Mm.
it kept coming back. The memories kept coming back.
Yeah.
And I'll go back to that phone call in just a second, what she and I did together. But they were very frustrated with my case. I kept
Mhm.
getting these people coming back to
Mhm.
our trailer park, and they were like, we can't make him forget about it.
Mhm.
Well, I was able to go back in the day. We had those color TVs, the tube TVs, not the flat screens.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I would walk by the TV with my hand, and it was like rubbing a magnet over the screen. And it was like I would describe this as a St. Elmo's fire effect in science. I don't think it was like she gave me some power or anything like that. I think
Mhm.
it's a very scientific explanation. I think I
Mhm.
literally was somehow ionized from touching her.
Mhm.
So it was whatever they go to that dimension, whatever they're made of, whatever technology
Mhm.
they've got that they can, go to higher dimensions, come down, or whatever that is. When they're here physically, they're not like what we are.
Mhm.
But I was walking around. My stepdad was like, "You've got a magnet. You stop using a magnet in front of the TV set." And I said, "No, that's my hand. It was just my ordinary hand was making the TV set actually. It was changing the color about the television."
Mhm.
What she did in the phone call, and we spoke for a while, and I agreed to do it. I developed a very strong bond and connection with her in that phone call, and I felt like we were just two lost souls at the time.
Yeah.
I felt a very strong connection, and she said there was a bonding that they do, but they can only do once with like a mate, if you will, but it's something that she can't do with anybody else. And she said that our science would eventually call it a quantum entanglement or quantum bonding or something to that effect.
Mhm.
Now I was 20 years old, and I was this poor girl. I said, whatever. I just reaching out to her at this point at the end of that phone chat. And she said, just lie still. And I was holding the phone like this. And I closed my eyes and I could see her hovering over me, just in an energy sense. And she fuses with me. And it's
Mhm.
like a quantum bonding or something. And I don't entirely understand it, but I
Mhm.
did it. Well, then again, I don't regret it, but then again, I was 20, so I don't, I don't really know
It's
what I'm.
almost like she's astral projecting herself to you,
Yeah, yeah,
showing you her,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and
And there's
yeah,
very few of us who can do that. I can do that. There's very few of us who
mm.
can do that. And it's yeah, you got to put your mind to it when you do it. Like,
Well, I think it was because of what she did with me that it made it almost impossible for
mhm.
this to be wiped out of my mind because America
Mhm.
apparently we have it. Again,
Yeah.
this is a disclaimer. We allege to have a technology. I'll say the word alleged. uh,
Yeah.
that we can make people forget things,
Yeah.
through chemicals or
Yeah.
electric shocks,
Yeah.
whatever that America's got.
Yeah.
But this is why I think I'm able to continuously have this experience and remember. And when the
Mhm.
memories came back in 2010, there were things that began to happen around me here in England. So the first part of this, I was debating: do I go public or not?
Mhm.
And I got called outside and felt the need to go outside in the backyard. And this is around late 2010. And I saw this white light flying over in the sky, very low, continuous pulse, just a white light. And then next to it, one appears, just gently lights up next to it. And then there were two of them flying together slowly,
Mhm.
side by side. that was the most beautiful thing. That was so sentimental. And that to me said, yes, go forward with this. That literally that night. It was the one light, and the next one appeared gently next to it. It was so deeply sentimental.
Mm-hmm.
And now that this is, there you go. Now people have asked me, did she survive the abduction? Did she get home to her people? This, as far as I understand, she did. She got back. She went back to her people. Now the reason they were harming her, I asked this question, and that sergeant lady was saying that when she goes back to her people, they were trying to mess her mind up, so as to convince her that not to deal with me anymore. They were trying to brainwash her, because they kept grabbing her head and facing it towards me, and they were harming her, and they were shocking her and facing it towards me like this. And it was like I said, it's extremely distressing seeing to see anybody assaulted. It's just take it, forget the identification, alien hybrid person for a minute. Just wipe that away. She's a person.
Yeah.
Imagine a person in front of you being assaulted by people, an innocent person that you know is an innocent person.
Yeah.
It is a trauma. It's post-traumatic at this point. And I was like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? And the woman said, well, this is what, and that's when that colonel said, we can make this. He said that, and that woman then told me, well, this is, so she goes back to this race, and then they're going to read her thoughts and think, well, don't deal with him. So she has also, by this memory coming back to me, and all this that's happened since, her mind has survived this too. So yeah, she's definitely got back to them. So yeah, but it goes back to that motivation to become an activist and say, yo, hey, there's good ones here. It's okay. They're not all bad.
Yeah.
But again, and like I said in the beginning, there was a lot of, you felt like you were standing alone in that statement. You got a lot of people I had a lot of people saying, oh, they cussed me in private messages. Oh, you're just you're a disinformer or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, a disinformer? I said, really? I wouldn't put it past her. I shouldn't say this, put it past our black ops government. How could you think they're all great people? What do you?
I think this line, including paranormal, you're gonna get a lot of haters. Let's put it this way.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be skeptics, and they're gonna call you up and this and that and blah 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 blah. Right? Yeah, I've been through, done that, been through, seen that, done everything. Right? Yeah. Okay. And let's face it. Something that they can't see, they can't feel, they can't touch, they won't believe it.
That's right. Exactly. That's right. And no amount of evidence is going to convince some people.
If you can't feel it, if you can't see it for yourself, like, good luck.
I often thought that if I got Beniko into a picture with me, she was landed somewhere, and we were standing together, I'd still get people saying that she's an animatronic doll or something. They wouldn't believe it. No. So no amount of evidence is going to be good enough for some folks. They're just still going to go.
Even in the paranormal, it's the same way, right? With us. Like, we see things, we feel things, we know it's there. But trying to convince Joe Blow, good luck, right?
That's right.
No, you can talk to you blue in the face, and it's not going to happen, right?
That's
there
right.
You go.
Yeah.
And at least at least I know that it's real. And
we know. Yeah.
The thing is, like, I have this theory of mine. Okay, if you don't believe me, you can stick it up your behind, because I don't give a shit. I'm sorry if I hurt you. I'm sorry if you don't like it, but this is the way I feel.
I like that. I like that too.
I've been through enough. I've seen enough. There isn't anything that bothers me anymore. I'm not scared of any shit that happens to me. Okay, I've seen it all. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you want me to convince you, good luck, because I ain't gonna do it. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of older now, right? Like, nothing really bothers me. I say, oh yeah, this person says that. I don't give a shit. Like, who cares, right? Really? Yeah, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and if you don't like it, you can stick it up.
Yeah, I'm in that camp with you, Irene. Yeah, I like the same way. Just they can take a long walk off a short pier if they don't.
Yeah, make it shorter. We'll take a hacksaw to make it shorter and I'll even push you.
Yeah, definitely. God.
but it's just something. Just feels just something that either you believe me or if you don't, I
Mm,
don't care. If you do, that's good too. We can talk. But if you
yeah.
don't, that's fine too. Like, yeah, I'm gonna walk this, you can walk that. This is my road, you can walk on that road. Yeah, I don't give a behind. I don't give rat's ass. Okay, I'm just gonna say that word.
Well,
Yeah.
I acquired when I started going down the road on this again. I was like, let's go get whatever
Mm,
evidence I can. I went out getting the pictures of the lights in the sky, whatever I could
yeah.
do, and I began to do. I went into that world of EVP recordings, electronic voice phenomena. It's often used for ghost recordings.
Mhm.
And I thought, well, I feel Beniko around me all the time.
Mm-hmm,
Can I get her on recording? And I did.
mm-hmm,
I've got some pretty extraordinary digital recordings of her speaking to me in full
mm-hmm.
sentences. I played it to a guy, and again, yeah, of course, he just kind of, we were on camera, and he looked at me and he went, "You've got a girl sitting in that room just talking to you." I says, "Well, yeah, of course you could say that, couldn't you?"
Yeah.
And it kind of threw me off. I thought, well, yeah, I guess someone would say that hearing but it's not like you have to use equipment to hear this. It's audible
No.
enough. You can hear her
Yeah.
speaking.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, yeah, I mean, how do you define her? She's not a ghost,
Yeah.
extra dimensional alien person on an EVP. And
No.
I was like,
No.
how do you define something like that? But again, yeah, there again. So I started getting a bit like, well, yeah, I could put these out there, but then I thought, yeah, what's that going to accomplish at this point? I mean,
Yeah.
I did put a few out on a YouTube channel. I started putting some videos or whatever out, but again, not enough. No amount of evidence is ever going to convince
No.
Yeah,
some
no, there's
people.
people that can actually see a UFO and still wouldn't believe it.
That's right.
No.
Yeah, no matter how much detail sitting in front of them,
Yeah.
they're going to go.
They just
Same
assume
thing.
it's gonna be something from the
Oh
Air
man, the
Force
same
that
thing
we
with
don't
Yeah,
know
yeah,
paranormal, right?
about.
Same thing with paranormal. Nobody's like, no matter how much evidence we put out there, they're not gonna believe it. Like they're
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
call it hogwash, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
well,
yeah, yeah.
it's really weird. Yeah, I mean, maybe we're the only ones that come out in Japan. We'll talk about paranormal, but yeah,
Mm, 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 mm. Well,
like,
it has to be. It's got to get out there. It's
yeah,
it's I mean, people
yeah,
need to know. They
yeah,
need to know that this. They need to feel. Probably a lot of people that don't want to talk about it, and they don't go. They won't go public with it. They won't. They don't know what to do.
no,
They bottle
they're
it
not.
up,
They're
and
yeah, they know it's there. It exists,
mm, mm, yeah,
right?
yeah,
It,
yeah,
it's for us. For us, we know that it's a taboo to talk about paranormal. Okay, we get it, right? But we're
yeah.
not. But that's not going to stop us from talking about it, because
No,
we'll
no,
we're going to do it whether you like it or not, right?
that's right. Yeah, ready or
But
not,
for
here it comes.
me,
Yeah,
coming out in public where I am, uh,
really. Oh well.
no, 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 not gonna do that because I don't want to be put in a loony bin because of that, right?
Right.
Well, I mean, that's England. England had laws about that years ago that they retracted. They had these section laws that yeah, I do tend to think, well, okay, I'm an author. I'm putting this out there. How there's freedom of speech laws. I'm thinking, and then I think, yeah,
Yeah,
but what if someone really had a look at this and thought, let's put him, let's go
yeah,
and question this guy, see what's wrong with him.
yeah. It's just yeah. Like
But it
Amanda
needs
doesn't
to,
talk
yeah,
about it.
yeah,
Amanda doesn't talk about. No, I don't talk about it. It's just really hard
yeah, yeah,
saying what you can do, what you can see, what you
yeah.
can feel, but yeah, coming out and saying something, good luck with that one because I don't mind. I will talk about it on this podcast, right?
Mm.
But for me, as a person going out and saying, hey, you know what? I can see. You're gonna look at me, you freaking weirdo,
Mm-mm.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Good luck with that one because
yeah.
I'm not
There's
gonna.
a lot of labeling,
Yeah,
but again, this is what we got to do.
yeah,
It's
Yeah.
it's got to be there, and
yeah.
it's got to be out. And
Uh, You know what? It's not gonna go away, right?
No.
I think
Oh,
in time they're gonna come out, but they're waiting in time because until
yeah.
we understand it more, they're gonna stay behind and not say anything and look and actually watch us and see how we react to it. But
Oh, yeah.
if we can't be open about it, they're not gonna come out and tell us anything, right? Or they're
That's
not gonna
right.
come
Oh,
out
they're
and talk
definitely
to us.
not going to now. Let's just be
No.
honest. I've had this conversation recently with
Yeah.
someone where aliens then helped us grow in, in technology and the way we do things, and now 'cause they're watching us use any technology that we get to basically destroy ourselves. So they're not going to. They were sitting back watching us destroy
Yeah.
ourselves
Yep.
Yeah.
as a humankind.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
for some
Yeah.
odd reason, the more technology that I mean, back then, the more technology that we had, the better we made our lives. Nowadays, the more
Yeah.
technology we have,
Yeah.
like
Mm,
the less common sense people have because you don't have
Mm.
to think or do anything. Machines are doing it for you.
yeah.
And it's like the more technology that we have, the
Yeah.
more that we are destroying ourselves and the
Yeah.
worse humankind is
Yeah.
getting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems to be
I wouldn't
it's,
come out
yeah.
either if I was them because they're like, I'm not gonna help you. You're destroying yourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
And
bet
I
we're,
think it's
yeah.
up to us to fix. Like people say, well, I'm praying to God that this is not going to happen. Well, what the hell does God have to do? It's you who's doing it.
Yeah.
You're the one who did it, so you're the one who has to fix it, right? I
That's
mean,
right. Yeah.
He just created. It's up to you to find a way to fix it so you can make it
Oh,
better.
I think they know that we're not gonna be able to fix it. That's why they're looking to be
Yeah.
able to take some of us to live in
Yeah.
space.
But then
Yeah.
we're gonna
No.
screw that
Yeah.
up too, because
Mm,
we missed our planet up. We're gonna,
Not everyone's gonna be allowed to live up there, though.
mm, mm,
I
yeah,
mm.
don't know what the criteria is gonna be,
Yeah.
but basically, like, we're gonna be left behind, and other
yeah,
people
Mm,
are gonna be living in space to kinda
mm.
start again. I know they're looking at making a space station. Like, I don't know if you saw back in the day the Disney movie Xenon Girl of the Future where she lives in a space station.
Mm,
It's
mm.
basically
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
be like that, where some people live in a space station and other people live like on Earth.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's gonna be that's what they're looking into. They were looking into us trying to inhabit another planet, but now they're just looking into making a space station we
Oh,
can
wow.
live
Yeah.
from.
but
And
yeah,
They
just
see
in this
no,
day.
the
but
human race is not.
I mean, we're a bunch of idiots, right? we like to screw things up. We like to say, "Oh well, so much for that, and let's go
Well,
someplace else."
things are getting bad now lately,
Yeah,
and without mentioning what's going on in Europe, but yeah, it's not good, and
no,
sure they've taken notice of that.
yeah,
That one of the things that she told me. Now, what one of the reasons I gained a bit of recognition for one of the books I wrote 10 years ago regarding our experience was that she told me a lot was happening in the 2020s, and
hmm
she tells me about a pandemic.
hmm
And I was saying that 10 years ago, and that caught attention when the pandemic hit.
hmm
And then she said she spoke of a war, but then she spoke of 2027.
hmm
Like I said, 2027, either something will happen or it won't. If it don't, never mind.
yeah,
People will go, that JP, what an idiot. No,
yeah,
but yeah, he got that wrong. But
yeah,
there was a lot. She told me a lot about that. So that got a lot of people, and they kept looking at me saying, "Oh, you got that right," and I says, "I didn't get that right.
yeah,
That's what she told me.
yeah.
Don't I'm just
I'm just
I'm
passing
nobody.
information what I got,
Yeah, I
right?
don't
Yeah,
know."
yeah,
Yeah.
So I got a little bit of a, bit of a buzz on that. And people were going, "What?" And in recent times, there's been a lot more interest in that story, and I was like, it's a little disturbing because I thought, well, don't come running to me to tell you about, I mean, I got a rather scary phone call a while back because my number's on Facebook, and it was someone here in England claiming to be with some agency or something, and said we need very imperatively to get Benico. We need to get her, and you've got contact with her. Where is she? And I'm like, well, where is kind of a not the right word. And I thought I got funny and I said, let's talk quantum mechanics for a minute. It's not exactly where in a direction I can point to.
Yeah.
I said, we're in the third dimension.
Yeah.
I said, are you familiar with Einstein Rosen bridge? And the guy was like, well, we need to get her. We need to get her. And I says, you really don't know what you're dealing with here. I said, it's not like I can just, she's in my closet or sitting in the next room.
Or
I
like
said, I don't,
phone home, like like
yeah. But
yeah.
it got really freaky because it's like, yeah, some of this stuff is actually coming to light. It's coming true what I reported that she told me. And I just wanted to plug that in real quick, but I was like, oh my God. And people were, so I want to say right here and now, I don't have all the answers. I don't know.
No.
But it was, yeah, that's part of the journey that got really, a bit bumpy road there. It's a little uncomfortable, a little fruit. And you think, oh God, and people should get this, you get people who they can't discern that, and they just start, they make you feel like there's a lot of this, some of the messages I got or the numbers of people starting to kind of jump on my social media. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, hold on a minute. I don't, I'm not, I don't have a crystal ball sitting here. And I'm only repeating what I was told. And it was 2027. That's all I know. And I don't, something about that being where that's global, where now it's going to be there it is. Everyone's going to see them. And there it is. Well, that was before David Grush said anything. And I was saying that about 2027, only because that's what she told me. And that's going to be where everyone's going to know they're here. And I look, as much as I'm an experiencer and spoke to her, and I know this happened, even I have to step back and go, you mean literally, really, Benico? The whole planet's going to be aware this is a fact? The way things are and the way the government kind of runs things, governments run things. And I'm not saying I don't believe her, but even I go, I don't know. They went to try to discredit Grush and the other people. I mean, really? By then we're going to be doing this? Well, okay. Even I'm sitting on the sideline with everyone else going, let's see if that happens or not. Okay. So I don't know. That's only a few years away. So who knows? I don't know.
It's a lot to take in. It's a lot of information to swallow. It's a big pill to swallow, right?
Yeah, quite a bit. It can be. I have to admit, the overwhelming feeling at times. You think this is like, my God, I guess I'm never going to be in that life where I get to just, have watch a football game on a Sunday and I work a job here and I'm just that ordinary guy, And sometimes when Grush went public a year ago in Congress, I joked with my son and I says, well, that's it. I get to retire. That's it. It's out in the open. I'm out of this. All right. There you go. See ya. Thank you for the book, Sil. Thank you for buying the books. Have a good one. Benico, you and your people take over from here.
Like,
I'm out.
I thought that was the most dumbest thing that they ever did. And the way I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that, I don't want to be, in that band of people that are saying, when the more of the truth starts to come out, I think they try to start elevating themselves more into some kind of a, whatever. And I've always said, well, look, that starts to come out. It's out. Like, and I'll say again, like I said, they'll take over from here. No, I don't mean take over the planet, but like their public narrative. They're going to do their own. I hope. I don't know. Am I going to carry on being a spokesperson?
I'm sorry to laugh, but yeah. Yeah. I'm not gonna go there. Okay, you know what I'm saying. I know what I'm saying. Yeah, right. Okay. Okay, everybody. We're gonna all go in our flying saucers and we're all gonna go in the sky and we're all gonna see what happens, right?
That's right. Yeah, they're gonna be on national TV and all. Am I going to be? Are we going to be expected to be dragged on national TV with them? I was like, look, we did our part. Okay, we did our part.
Yeah.
All right, that's done now, little lady. You know, to Beniko, it's done. You can now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to get onto the ordinary life before I get too
Like,
old.
oh, like this, like,
Yeah, yeah.
I might as well hit my head on the concrete wall and still I might get something out of it, right? Like, like,
Mm, mm,
what, like saying that, what do you think that's gonna happen? What do you think people are gonna say, right? They go,
mm,
yeah, well, people are not that stupid as you think they are, right?
mm, mm. Yeah,
And
there's
They can be though.
yeah,
yeah.
I can't say not everyone because there are some. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying earlier. Is the more technology that we have,
Mm,
yeah,
the worse the humankind's getting.
I
yeah,
know.
the word. Yeah, yeah. It's
And
it's it's just yeah. I
it's just
think yeah.
really weird because living in Japan, there's a lot of weird things that they can do, right?
Mm,
They can say, okay, if you want a baby boy, okay, we'll make sure that you get a baby boy. If you want a baby
wow.
girl, okay, we'll make sure you get a baby girl.
Mm,
Like,
mm,
you know, there's no more like, let's leave it to let's leave it to whatever happens.
mm,
Like, we're gonna interfere, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that.
mm, mm.
It's more like that in this country. It's yeah, nothing's really natural anymore, right?
Oh wow, goodness. Mm,
It,
mm,
if you
mm,
come and you take a look,
mm,
you go to Tokyo, you go to Shibuya, the
mm.
main center of the crossing, and you see all these things, lights in the sky, those neon things, and it's just, yeah,
Oh wow.
okay, yeah,
Mm,
it's just like, okay, what
mm,
happened to regular lights? Like, no,
mm.
it's that, like, everything's just totally weird,
Oh
and
wow, goodness.
yeah,
Mm, mm.
it's.
It
I'm
is.
so used to it because I live in this house. I'm so used
Yeah,
to live in this country, right? But yeah,
it's
people who
getting.
aren't will go.
Yeah, wow. The
It's
advancements and the technologies that are.
just totally
Yeah.
weird,
I
different.
think the intervention, I think whatever that is, I don't think there's going to be any. I'm not one of those that says that because she didn't say it to me
No,
about that they're going to save the world or anything like that.
no,
I think from what I was getting from her, there was going to be an intervention of some kind, but it wasn't going to be a save the human race. The human
no,
race is going to save itself
yeah,
if we do. Hold on.
Yeah,
If we
yeah,
do.
I don't believe that, but
yeah,
Yeah, I think I'm on that camp. But yeah, so it's like it sounded more like an intervention because someone caught me down on that and says, "Well, are you one of those that says that the aliens are going to save us?" Says, "No, we save ourselves," is what she said.
yeah.
But
It's
that
up to
they're
us.
just going to be
It's up to
intervening.
us to do. It's
Yeah,
up to us because we're the one who made it like this, made our mess, and we have to fix our
yeah,
mess.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Wow.
why
Hmm.
do we always think that somebody's gonna save us, right?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
what idea did
because they did
Mhm.
it before, we just assume that they're gonna do it again. But that's probably
Yeah,
why they don't want to. It's like,
yeah.
all right,
Mm,
we helped you guys out once before. Now you
mm,
guys are just kind of
mm.
not going in a positive direction.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like a little bit of a nudge. It's what it sounds like it's coming. A little bit of a, well, we're kind of seeing that now anyways, with the masses increasing numbers of sightings and
Yeah.
whatnot. And
Yeah.
especially the activity you're talking about in Japan, which sounds
Yeah.
incredibly impressive. And,
Yeah.
so
It,
yeah, it's like how do you start a show like that, for the
yeah.
human race? How do you let them know? It starts off with act one, act two, act three,
Mhm.
and it's coinciding with events that are just getting really scary, especially over here in Europe, getting really disturbing at
Mhm.
times. And it's like, whoa, 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 what's going on?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that would be an interesting uh, how that pans out. Like I said, I'm on the same side with everyone else. I it's just what I
Yeah.
got told, and I'll sit here and go, well, look, okay, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, um, but yeah, I mean, I felt. I mean, when the pandemic hit, it was really frightening for a lot of people. But I remember already knowing that had been told something like that was coming, but it wasn't going to be the end of the world, as it were. Everyone thought that was the end of the world, but it was really weird to be knowing something in advance of something like that, and to be able to know, well, this isn't going to end us. And everybody was saying that at the time. That was a really
Yeah.
weird experience. That was weird.
Yeah.
It was like a weird one in a lifetime kind of thing. You go, how often do you meet someone like that? And then know that, hey, it's and I was telling people without going into details, I would say, oh, we're not all going to get killed off by that. You know,
Yeah.
it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to be
Yeah.
okay. And they were like, oh no, this is it. This is it. And at the time it did look like that was going to be it. It was going to be too many deaths. That was going to end civilization. But it was like I was walking around going, oh no, I know it's going to be all right. And I thought, where is that? I mean, passing a mirror going, how can
Yeah.
you know something like that from this girl? And you're sitting there, you're actually comfortable that you know the outcome of that. I was like, huh, it was part of the journey, part of the experience, you know, is part of
You can't change it, so it's not
No.
like you can really
no,
worry about
yeah,
it.
yeah,
But the thing is, it's up to you whether to listen to it, to accept it, or to ignore it.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Pick your
yeah,
choice, right? Yeah.
mm, yeah, well, yeah, yeah. I guess our response is important, and how we respond to they're here and what to do about it, and um, what direction the human race is going to go from here.
Yeah.
How do we respond to our own self identity
Yeah.
as a civilization? You know, how do we um, you know, how do we redefine maybe our place and who we are, and then
Yeah.
sit back and think, well, you know, I guess if we can start feeling more of those, think more of those thoughts along the lines,
Mhm.
maybe that influences maybe less of the scary stuff from happening. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
I think we have to be more vigilant about ourselves and
Yeah.
hear things around ourselves and not just take everything for granted,
Mm,
because it's not going to be like that. I mean,
mm,
we ourselves are
mm,
going to keep ourselves, or we ourselves are going to wipe each other out,
mm,
right?
mm, mm, mm.
And
Yeah.
it's not up to them, it's up to me and you and everybody else here who we define ourselves as a person, as a human being.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I mean, you know, from the experience with the interpersonal experience with this, I'll go back to that definition. I'll get very definite about it. The alien human hybrid girl, Beniko, you know, it made me appreciate humanity, a
mm,
very deep sense of humankind and being human, living in the human civilization. I came away with a real sense of appreciation
yeah.
that I think that the human race tends to not give itself enough credit at the end of the day. And in that, I apologize for being too brief about the call I had with her. Um, but they actually hold the human civilization in a much higher regard than I think we hold ourselves.
Mhm.
And there was a lot of care and compassion I could feel very sincerely coming from her
Yeah.
about the human civilization. It was a very genuine compassion. It wasn't fake. It wasn't a lie. And there was like a need to want to
Mhm.
reach out to. They want that. They want that.
Mhm.
But it wasn't ready. It wasn't ready. And she's like, well,
No.
in decade, that's when the conversation went into the when period. And she's going on about the 2020s and what happens next, 2030s. So yeah, there was a real um, compassion. I mean, I got a bit judgmental in the chat, and she told me not to be non-judgmental. She comes across as very Buddhist, very Zen-like. If I define it, it's a very Buddhist Zen-like type of philosophy that was coming from her. Oneness, unity, love, and all that was coming up. All that was very spiritual, the unity issue and love. But it was spoken as a matter of fact. It wasn't like like a belief system, if I can define it the way she came across. Because in the beginning, I got goaded into the new age groups a little too much, and I had to detract from that. I had to pull back from that. So this is a real experience. I'm not nothing against new age or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I did want to get goaded into that because I was, you know, in the beginning, I was very much taught. I was just remembering and feeling her, and I was just very inspired. I was putting stuff out, and people said, "Oh, it's very spiritual," and I would say, "Well, it's not spiritual," and they would say, "Well, that's
Mm.
contradicting." that's contradicting. I said, no, it's their science.
Yeah.
It's a fact for them, where we have to have a belief about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't like the word spiritual. I thought for her it's a reality. This physical living energy body that they can put into a body and they can move it around. It was like mind blowing. But then I thought, oh wait a minute, where am I going here? And it was like in the beginning there was a lot of this running in that. There was a lot of these people that were just kind of, oh, he's a spiritual whatever, and I was like, well, no, it's inspired by the connection to this girl.
What are you just thinking? Are you a
Like,
spiritual guru or something like that, right?
yeah. And I thought, oh no, where's this going? And I started getting in the early days. There was a very famous gentleman in India. I don't remember his name now, but he was a well-known spiritual leader or somebody. And I put something on my wall regarding Star Wars, because Star Wars was coming out with some movies 10 years back, and it was
Mm-hmm.
lightsaber battles or whatnot. And he got all over me about that. He said, oh, no, you can't be putting that out there. It's violent or whatever. And I was like, you don't really know me, do you? I said, no, wait a minute. I said, I'm an ordinary guy. I said, I just have this connection, and this is what I'm feeling from her. I said, no, this is difficult to explain. It's like trying to explain the fourth dimension to the third dimension. I says, I don't know where I'm going with this. And so then I said, look, okay, Jason, look, here's what's going to have to happen. Okay. I need to just look, I feel that all the time. And I'd like to write this all the time on my wall for everybody. But then I thought, okay, let's stick to what happened. Let's just talk about the experience. This is what's important. Let's share that. Let's bring this to the people that need to hear this, to the relevant people and who not. I said, I have a responsibility to her memory, to Beniko, to what happened. That is the urgency. And I thought, look, I don't want to get drowned in the quagmire of something that really would just kind of fog it up a bit about that. And I thought, look, wait a minute. There's an imperative need to bring this out there and say this. There's an imperative need that there may be others that they're doing this to. We got to stop that. We have to maybe talking about it gets others inside there to come out and say, look, this isn't right. Let's stop doing this to them, or let's help bring this out. The truth that they're here and we're not alone. That's important. So I began to divorce myself from this, again, forgive the terminology, New Age groups, which I was being thrown into groups all over the place. And they were like, that's quite interesting. Where are you getting that from? And I'm like, well, yeah, I keep feeling her. And it's coming from her. And so then I thought, well, look, I don't want to be a leader like that. I don't want to be standing at a pulpit, some kind of the Church of JP, It got really scary.
He reminds me, I'm going to say this, okay, you can accept it or not. Sure reminds me of the same, I don't call it religion, okay? I'm also Catholic, but I'm also Shintoist, okay?
Okay, yeah.
And it comes from, okay, it's not formed from any church, it's a higher level Buddhist religion, okay? Whatever you want to call it. Yeah. It comes from the sky, it comes from the heavens above. It was created for it was created for the prince and princess of Japan, like the royalty of Japan. So a lot of royalty belongs to the same religion, and I do too, because I've got lineage of that also in my blood.
Oh wow.
And my family. So yeah, there are very few people who practice Shintoism. It's one of the most beautiful religions you can practice. You don't have to belong to it. It's like going there for cleansing, going there if you have a problem, going there if you need help from something that bothers you and makes you feel better inside. So you don't practice it, you don't do anything, right? It's up to you whether you want to go or not.
Wow.
And it reminds me of that what she is.
Yeah.
And you know what? That reminds me of the same thing that I do, right?
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Goodness. Wow.
It's
Yeah. I
just
resonate. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
it's a little bit
Wow.
different, if you ever come to Japan, I could take you to the shrine that I go to, and it is a Shinto
Mm.
shrine. It's a little bit.
Yeah.
They have high priests, and they have the people who work within the shrine. They all wear white and red.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, on top is white, and on bottom on the skirt is all red. Yeah, it's just a little bit different.
Wow. That's an eye opener. Yeah, I do resonate with that. That's an eye opener. That's, oh, God, that's got me thinking 1,000 things at once. Wow.
The
Because that,
and
yeah. Yeah.
in Paranormal Japan, the
Mm.
group,
Mm.
you'll see the shrine that I go to. It's really
Yeah.
weird
Wow. Wow.
because it's on the mountain. Okay, this side is all forest. This
Uh,
side is ocean.
mm.
Yeah, and
Oh,
it's
my
really
goodness.
it's just an interesting place. It's just when you go there, you feel
Mm.
calm. You don't feel
Mm.
anything that bothers you, and everything that bothers you exits your goes left, and you don't feel it anymore. And you feel within yourself, and in
Mm.
yourself, you don't feel anything that
Mm.
everything else leaves your body.
Oh, gosh. I can
Yeah,
relate to that. This is what it feels like, what I'm getting from her. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. There's a wow.
I guess if I put it there
Wow.
for you,
Wow.
probably this is where she can't. This is probably part of her. This is
Mm.
probably the same thing that I belong
Mm.
to, and
Yeah.
because I feel it in me,
Mm.
and I feel it in me when I hear you, and I
Mm.
feel
Oh, well.
her, and I
Yeah.
think,
Wow.
hey, there's a connection to that, right?
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
the
wow.
same Buddhist religion. It's a higher level of Buddhism. Everyone is
Yeah.
Buddhist here, but this is above everybody else, right?
That's what that's yeah. Whenever I looked at this in the direction of that's what I was saying, trying to define it like Buddhist resent. It didn't quite hit it, but there you just hit it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
it's
And I had, like I said, I just connecting with her all the time. In the beginning, there was a lot of this just flowing to just, and it was constant, and I was just constant. And but again, it was coming from her, and it was like at the same time I'm like, well, yeah, I obviously I'm connected, I can feel that, and I follow her on that.
mhm,
But there was this yeah, this, yeah, yeah, wow, yeah, I just, wow.
the right.
What you're telling
It's
me,
a
because
little bit like
that hit it right on the nail of the head. Yeah, that did it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And so
Wow.
I can relate to that. I can relate to her. I can
Yeah.
relate to where she comes from. I can
Mm.
relate to everything that she says, and
Mm.
I'm hearing it from a different point of view, right?
Wow. Goodness, Irene. Wow, God.
It is
Wow.
becoming more of a belief when you were saying earlier where there's a portal open.
Mm.
It is becoming more of a belief with people that aliens are not from outer space, they're not from another galaxy, but they're not intergalactic or whatever you want to call it. They're more interdimensional beings.
Yeah,
Mm.
Where
Mm.
it's like they also say the same thing about Bigfoot, where the reason why you can't figure out where he is or where he goes is because he jumps through portals.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
So they
Wow.
say aliens can do the same thing, and that's why a lot of people also think like the cryptids are that are interdimensional are just another kind of
yeah,
alien.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
Bigfoot is
wow.
not is really an alien.
Yeah.
What we would believe an alien. They kind of come from the same place, from like another dimension. They're just kind of jumping
Ah,
through portals, and that's why you don't find any bones of where they live, where they
yeah,
sleep, or anything like that.
that's interesting. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, definitely. Like that from a that's like
yeah,
the
yeah,
Mothman issues that took place in I don't remember where that is now. Yeah. Yeah. And higher dimensional, um yeah, this idea of other planets.
yeah,
I've been asked that. I get asked that a lot about what planet. And I
It
sit
might
back
not
and
be a planet. It might
yeah,
just be another
yeah,
yeah,
dimension.
yeah.
Some people
Yeah.
It's
say other dimensions. Some people
here,
say it's
maybe
also
from
us
the
from the
solar system,
future
right?
Yeah.
able to. It's
Mm,
us from the what we see as aliens now might be us from the future.
mm, mm.
Opening that what we see as a portal, and
Yeah.
they're coming through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
Because I
Uh,
know our if our because a lot of people are like, well, why are they kidnapping people to or abduct people to do experiments? And I was like, you know, our scientists nowadays, if they could go back in time to the prehistoric, see a caveman,
yeah.
they would definitely try and do some experiments. They would definitely try and do experiments on any dinosaurs,
Oh
anything
God. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. So it's
Yeah.
hard for me to say. No, it could possibly be humans from the future coming back
Mm,
to.
mm.
And probably because they're abducting like fetuses or whatever. Probably they know something that we don't know to save the future or
Yeah.
whatever.
Mm, mm,
Like we don't know. Like
mm,
they're saying, oh, they were gonna create more alien babies or whatever.
mm, mm,
Yeah, that's one way of looking at it, but there's another
mm.
way of looking at it too. Like save the human race. Like we don't know that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. And then maybe, yeah, and have that civilization develop someplace else.
Yeah,
Maybe here on this planet, but elsewhere,
yeah,
like back to the distant future, or any other
yeah.
dimension where there's a need to
Uh,
expand. I
so,
have had.
there's a lot of theories going out there,
Mm,
rolling around there, but
mm,
if like we're looking at a different way, right? At a different
mm.
angle, right? Because I think we're kind of different ourselves, right?
Yeah,
Me
that's right.
and
We're different kind of. I've had in the connection with her. I've had these, and it didn't frighten me so much because then I'm in her memory in in Japan as a human when she was fully human,
Mhm.
and yeah, I'm a bit funny about talking about that subject. I do apologize. I like bringing it up, but this is what she told me. This is what I feel. This is what I see in her memory. When that thing is this is controversial, I know, but when that thing was going off, there was a dream. Sometimes I've had a recurring dream. I'm in her memory of going up into this portal, but there's that split second I catch myself in the dream, suddenly wake, or because I'm witnessing this, I'm seeing this,
Mhm.
and there's a moment of absolute terror, and then there's a sudden sense of going there and dealing with becoming something. I don't like to use the word ascended,
Mhm.
but I'll say placed into that new body. Okay,
Mhm.
and there's an upgrade going on of other issues, upgrades that are beyond the human construct, and I can see that, um, going up in and doing that, and it's mind blowing. It's quite mind blowing for lots of different reasons, for lots of reasons. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's just like my mom just died, 2 weeks ago, and of course I'm grieving her loss. She died in Texas from cancer and all that, but people were like, "Well, I don't, you're not so ripped up. What's the
Mhm.
matter with you?" And I'm like, "Well, she's about, But then I'm always feeling Benico, so that it's like you're never alone. You got that kind of, you know,
Yeah,
you're,
they're
you're not
always
alone.
right.
It's like this connection, and it's always with you, and you walk around and you just feel like someone's right there all the time, and I'm like, well, okay, and it's just this is quite an interesting, yeah,
Yeah, she's there.
quite
She's
different, yeah.
right. She's right behind you. She's saying like this to me.
All right, yeah. Wow.
It's
Well,
it's yeah. Don't worry about it.
yeah.
You'll You'll be okay. Don't worry about it. It's
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm just wondering, like, yeah, we got this. way of we see, some can see things. I'm wondering, where did that come from too? You like, where did our gifts come from? Why are we doing this? Right? It's really weird because there's no answer to that one either, right?
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's
wow.
just it's
Mm.
just something really strange, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
A-
Goodness. Goodness.
And you feel yourself like you feel this yourself like, but there are people who are with us in this realm, but
Mm.
you feel like you're all alone in this, right? Like
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
nobody listening to you,
Yeah.
like nobody can see what you're doing.
Yeah.
So it's like we have to keep. I have close knit people that I deal with, and we talk about. I work with them too,
Mm.
and it's kind of like we're really weird.
We're all we have like I said, yeah, you're right. We have to stick tight together. We're our own people, I think. We're our own bunch. We're a step out of the norm, I think. Certainly a very different crowd. But
most
we're
most
but we we it's like you said, we help each other out. We share.
yeah,
The sharing is all part of it. That's wonderful. That you guys are wonderful. You're so wonderful. And I to everybody out there, I love you all. I do. For that are going through this journey or have these experiences or whatnot.
it's it's a hard. I don't know. Sometimes I feel so alone. Sometimes I feel
Yeah,
ugh, like this. And sometimes I say, you know what? Whoever gave me these gifts, I don't want it, right? And
yeah,
then
yeah,
everyone else say, I want that gift. I said, no, you don't.
mm,
No, you
yeah,
don't.
yeah. Oh
You know,
wow.
like I like they're probably going to say, I want what you have. And they say, if they say that to you, you're probably saying,
Yeah, it's like, well, where do we begin with this? Let's see.
yeah, uh, yeah.
Where-
Can you teach me? No, you can't.
mm, I was like,
Not at
yeah,
a
exactly.
certain point,
Yeah,
but I mean, yeah, there's lots that you will never understand, right?
yeah, yeah,
It's just like,
yeah,
yeah, I'm not gonna do that, because
yeah.
I hate to say this, but I could do healing too. Okay, I know
Really.
how to deal
Mm,
with my hand. Okay, but
right.
I don't tell anybody, right? It's just part of what I do, and they go, "Ooh, you're
Mm,
weird." I go, "Yeah, thank
mm,
you.
mm.
I love
Well,
that."
that's
Oh,
why we're friends
Yeah,
with a lot of people who do the same thing, just because, I mean, I can't explain it to anyone else
no,
who's never experienced it. You can't either.
that's right.
no,
That's why
Yeah.
it's helpful when we have friends that have done the same thing, experienced
Mm,
the same thing, because it's like I can say it, and I'm like, I don't know how to explain it, and you're like, no, I know what you mean. You don't have to explain it to me because you already know. I mean, you know yourself. You can't explain the feelings that we get,
no,
what we see, what we do.
that's right. Yeah.
You can't.
yeah,
Mm,
We wish we could, but it's like it's hard
mm.
for me to explain in a
no,
way you would get
no,
it.
That's right. That's always been the problem I've had is trying to put it into the best way possible, and it always seems to fall short. It
yeah.
it doesn't. I'm never going to get it. That's
Like you're gonna say, either you got it or you
mm,
don't, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
And then if you get it, well, good luck, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Like my son, my oldest son, he was experiencing a lot of stuff when he was in elementary school. I didn't get mine till I was a little bit later in life, but it was really hard for my husband to understand it. And for me as a mom, like I couldn't feel it, but I had to support him
Mm, mm,
as I could.
mm,
And for him going through certain things, I cried because, like, how dare you do this to my son? How dare you make my son see this? Like,
mm, mm.
as a mom, right? You want to protect your son, your child, but you can't because he was experiencing this all by himself, right? And then when it happened to me, I go, oh shit, here we go. Like I'm going like this, yeah. And I'm saying, yeah, I understand it. Yeah, yeah, I can see it. Yeah. And then
Mm, mm.
and you feel it and you said, damn, like I wish
Yeah,
there to help him. I was there. I wish I knew what I know now so I could help him, but I couldn't do it at that time. But yeah,
Yeah, I say the same thing
mm,
about my younger self. I wish I
yeah,
could. I wish I knew what I knew now
yeah.
back then, so I wasn't
mm,
such a afraid little girl.
But
mm, mm,
the only thing we could do is that we can learn from it. And we cannot. We learn from we use it as a teaching tool to ourselves, right? And to
mm,
us,
mm,
we know. And yeah, seeing a child go through stuff was the
mm,
most hardest thing as a mom I could ever.
mm, mm,
A pill that I didn't want to swallow. like it, like there were so many times I was in tears because of that. I couldn't
mm,
help it.
mm.
I could, but I won't. I couldn't. And for my husband, he's going through. He's in a different view.
Right.
He's more analytical, and he said, one time it really bothered me because he said, "I wish I had a regular child, a regular family." I said, "I need to bop him. I need to give him a right hook because I got so mad." I was so upset with him because this is your child, okay?
Mm,
He's
mm,
sensitive than other children. He's not. You can't call him normal. Like, define normal to me. That's to me.
mm,
You're
mm.
lying. Okay, that's a lie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody's normal, right? And I think it was one of the most difficult things I had to go through in life with this.
Oh goodness. Mm,
This
mm,
might be going to what we were saying earlier here in Japan with the portals being open. That maybe cryptids are not actually creatures or cryptids, but they're a kind of alien who's able to go through, or
Yeah,
what, like I said before, what we call aliens. They're just interdimensional beings.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Because yeah, there is a
Mhm.
lot of the supernatural and cryptids here from someone who lives in that the Kyushu Island area.
yeah,
I read in mainland Japan area. We can't say
yeah.
there's a lot of paranormal. There is a lot of cryptids seen here. Like there's thousands of cryptids, and
Mm.
Yeah.
unfortunately, there's no one taking the time to even try and understand them or
Well,
study them.
Wow, goodness. I would like to come over. I would
it's
like to visit you guys. That'd be wonderful to come over
it's
at
a
some point.
different.
Mm,
You gotta. If you think that you're gonna go there with it, you're gonna come here with that
mm,
same mind, you
mm,
better change it right now because
mm,
no,
mm,
you can't come
mm.
here with the same mind that you usually do. You know,
Yeah.
it,
Wow.
it's totally different. It's gonna
Mm,
blow you away one way, and it's gonna make you go like this.
wow.
Yeah,
I have a calling to do it. I will do it one day. I would like to. I would love to, especially visit a few places in specific mind about that. Connecting to
yeah.
her life as when she was human in Japan, and there are places I've definitely got to go to. I've got to
You know
stand
what?
there. I've got to be there.
You know,
Um,
I wouldn't mind taking you to Hiroshima too,
yeah,
because
that's in my mind. Yeah, definitely.
I did my
Yeah.
investigation there. Okay, it was the most hardest thing I've ever done because
Well.
my mom got sick from the atomic bomb, and
Oh God.
they were in the war, and
Mm.
she was making airplane parts. She was in junior high, and she died of radiation poisoning
Oh,
because
I'm
of.
sorry. Oh my God. Mm.
And they moved to Hiroshima, and it was the most hardest investigation I've ever done in my whole life.
Mm. Mm.
It, yeah, and the spirits are totally different.
Yeah.
They
Oh
know you're
goodness.
coming, and they're gonna say,
Yeah.
"Ha, you're coming, right?" And they go, "Yeah."
Yeah.
It's
Oh wow.
different.
God.
It's a different air. It's a different atmosphere. It's in your face like this
Mm.
there,
Mm.
and you could feel it.
Oh my goodness.
You could
Mm.
feel it as soon as you
Mm.
get out there. You could really feel it. It's
Mm.
The
it's
energy
no
in
other.
Japan just feels different in
Yeah,
general. I always say I can't explain it. I just can say
yeah,
it feels different than any other haunted places. Like I've been in America, I've been
Mm.
in many haunted places. The energy here is just different.
yeah.
If
Oh
And
you
wow.
don't feel energy, there's no way for me to explain this to you.
Well,
That's
I'm gonna go ahead. Sorry, Amanda. Carry on. Carry on.
that's the other thing I was gonna say is yeah. I mean that's also what I've always started out first with my gifts is feeling
yeah,
energy of people, feeling
Mm.
energy around me, and it's
yeah.
definitely different here.
Oh wow.
Anywhere else I've been, I can't.
It hits you in your face. It's in your face. You don't have to go any place to buy tickets to go anywhere haunted because it's right there. You outside your front door. Yeah, go that way. There you
Mm,
go.
mm.
There's something haunted, right? It's
God.
sad in this country, and Tokyo is extremely haunted. So is her island, Kyushu Island, is really haunted too. My husband grew up in that same island that she lives in now, and he goes, "Yeah, this, and this there, and this there," and I go, "Oh," I go, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah."
Well,
You know.
well, I think I'm gonna hit it tonight.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's getting
Yeah,
late for you. Thank you so much for
that's all
joining
right.
us. We'll have to head
I've
back.
so enjoyed you, Amanda and Irene, so much. I hope we get to do this again. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much for joining us, and everyone else that
thank
out there. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.